I hear no objections. If so decided. The Commission will now consider the themes of its upcoming sessions. And I recall that at its 39th session, held in 2006, the Commission decided to adopt a multi-year program of work and to select a special theme for each year based on a program of action. With regard to the special theme for the Commission on Population Development in the years 2013 and 2014, the Commission has before it a draft decision entitled Special Themes for the Commission on Population and Development in the years 2013 and 2014, contained in an informal paper submitted by me on the basis of informal consultation. The draft decision reads as follows. The Commission on Population Development decides that the special theme for the 46th session of the Commission on Population Development in 2013 shall be New Trends in Migration, Demographic Aspects and Development. In addition, in accordance with the guidance provided by the General Assembly in Resolution 65/234, the Commission decides that the 47th session in 2014 will be devoted to an assessment of the status of implementation of the Programme of Action of the International Conference on Population and Development.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And specifically on the theme of 2013, the European Union doesn't believe that the current proposal reflects the consensus that was reached in informal consultations. We would appeal for further time to allow us to reach a consensus on the theme of 2013. Thank you.
I'd like to thank the esteemed Deputy Opinion. We'll take that into consideration. Friends and colleagues, you know that our most important task is now before us. We need to adopt by consensus the resolution on the theme of the Commission, which this year deals with the core of the programs of action. We know that what we adopt today will have a major impact in improving the lives of millions of people in the world, particularly in countries like ours that are beginning to energize our development process. For that reason, I hope we can come together and adopt the text that you contributed to draft and that our facilitator has ably put together. The delegations will recall that at the second meeting of the Commission on the 11th of April, I appointed the Vice Chair, Mr. Christophe Bossempierre of Belgium, to chair informal consultations on fertility, reproductive health and development. These consultations have been ongoing throughout the week. The Commission will now consider the draft resolution on fertility, reproductive health and development. In that regard, I would like to give the floor to our distinguished Vice Chair, Mr. Christophe Bossempierre, to report on informal consultations held on the text of the draft resolution. The text of the draft resolution is before us in the document entitled Draft Resolutions, and it's going to facilitate the Chair's text on fertility, reproductive health and development. I thank the Chair, the Vice Chair, for his statement and for his hard work and the efficient conduct of the informal consultations. I also salute the efforts of all those involved in the long hours of consultations over the past few days. Does any delegation wish to make a statement before we proceed to take action on the draft resolutions? With regard to the draft resolution, I would like to inform the Commission that I've been advised that it contains no program budget and implications. Considering the recommendations and input from the facilitator, I would like to break the sessions for a few minutes for him to consult a little further with delegates that have requested to do so. The meeting will be temporarily suspended for a few minutes. Well, before we begin the second session, may I take the opportunity to thank each and one of you for your patience and understanding of how we intend to proceed going forward. Officially, the meeting is now resumed. With regard to the special theme for the Commission on Population Development in the years 2013 and 2014, I introduced earlier in the meeting a draft decision contained in the informal paper submitted by me on the basis of informal consultations. I now give the floor to Mr. Pierre to report on the informal consultations which took place during the suspension.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My understanding from the informal consultations is that we would reach consensus with the following change in the text that is before you. Simply in the title that is proposed as a theme for 2013, the theme would be New Trends in Migration, demographic aspects. New trends in migration, demographic aspects. This is the only change that is proposed, that the Chair is proposing as a result of the formal consultation.
Thank you very much. This is indeed good news. May I take it that the Commission is now ready to adopt the draft decision as contained in the informal paper as orally revised by the facilitator? I hear no objections. It is so decided. Very much for that. May I take it that the Commission wishes to adopt the text as submitted by myself and the facilitator on the basis of the informal consultations as orally revised? I hear no objections. It is so decided. The draft resolution entitled Fertility, Reproductive Health and Development adopted. Once again, thank you very, very much to all colleagues for using prudence, maturity and negotiating. This was quite a tricky one, and all parties participated very well to come to this position. Thank you very much. Now we'll come to the fun part. Does any delegation wish to take the floor following the adoption of our draft resolution? May I invite Poland, and then followed by Chile.
The delegation of Chile wants that this intervention is part of the acts of the Commission. According to our constitution, we protect the life from the conception to death. So, nothing in this resolution would be interpreted, in our views, as a reference to abortion that my delegations would not accept. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Distinguished Excellency. May I invite Costa Rica?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Very briefly, let me explain the position of my delegation on this document. Costa Rica, a country with a long and well-established tradition of respect to human rights and promoting tolerance among different groups, joins the consensus for the adoption of this document. However, we note that we still maintain some reserve on that paragraph which mentions abortion and sexual and reproductive rights, insofar that Costa Rica protects life since conception. Furthermore, we want to register our understanding that when sexual and reproductive rights are mentioned, It refers to the ability of women and men to attain and keep sexual and reproductive health in the framework of equality and mutual respect. This also means, in accordance to Costa Rica's current national legal framework, that physical autonomy involves the exercise of power and control over one's own body, sexuality and fertility, and the right to live free from sexual, physical, and psychological violence. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, the distinguished speaker from Costa Rica. May I now invite Tunisia? May I invite Egypt, please, to take the floor?
I have extended comments. I would just like to join other speakers in congratulating you for the wonderful work and what we have achieved in this week, and also to say that the resolutions we have made here will go a long way in helping our countries to achieve what we agreed in the ICPD and consequently improve the lives of women and children and other people at the grassroots whom we are representing in this meeting. Thank you.
I thank the distinguished delegate of Malawi, Zuko Mokwambi.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
I'd like to congratulate you and your committee, as well as the chair who has been leading the deliberations that has led to this wonderful resolution. We think that it will go a long way in saving the lives of young people and women in Africa. Zambia would just like to thank the chair for having so patient with us, and that we hope in time it will become a less painful process than it has been for you, Mr. Chair. So thank you very much. Ziko Mpambi.
Thank you very much, Zambia. I thank the delegates for all their statements, which have been thankfully to one of the last items on the agenda, namely item number 9, entitled Adoption of the Report of the Commission on its 44th session. The procedural part of the draft report of the session is contained in the document E/CN.9/2011/L.3. And I have the pleasure to give the floor to our distinguished Vice Chairperson and Rapporteur, Mr. Easton Williams, to introduce this document. Mr. Williams, you have the floor.
Mr. Chair, distinguished delegates, I have the honor to introduce the draft report on the 44th session of the Commission on Population Development.